And welcome everyone to the very first episode of Beyond the Forecast, something that we've been working on for about 6 months, 7 months, and it's finally come to fruition. Now, this is a show that's going to be a half hour long that is going to give you every bit of science and weather that you could possibly fathom. Anything that has to do with your weather that you see on a daily basis, and all the weather that you don't see on a daily basis, but the science behind it, and also everything wrapped in weather. And that's what the show is going to be about every day from 4:30 to 5. And there's also a lot of other things that go along with this show that you can catch on different platforms, not just here. And we'll explain those coming up in a little bit. But first, how the show is going to work is we'll usually have a topic for you, and it's not just by day, but it's sometimes by week. This week, for example, we're going to be talking about severe weather awareness, because last week was Severe Weather Awareness Week, and we're like, you know what, we need to highlight that for a week. So we are going to give you the ups and downs, in and outs of everything severe weather and what you can do to prep yourself, whether it's a plan or finding shelter or having the things you need if severe weather were to arise. So first up, meteorologist Haley Fiaschetti will tell you things to have in your safe place or shelter during severe weather, such as a helmet or some steel-toed boots or an air horn, and why those are important. And then we'll take a look at our Beyond the Forecast podcast, which is an awesome interactive way for you, the viewer, to interact with us during a live stream podcast. And we'll talk about a certain topic. We'll put it out there on socials for you to choose every week, and you choose the topic you want. The winning topic, that's what we'll talk about in the podcast. But this is the section of the show that we usually give you headlines, weather headlines, whether it's something that you haven't seen or maybe something that's a huge impact in the weather community. But since it's the very first episode, we're going to take care of some housekeeping things first. Also with Beyond the Forecast, there is a newsletter that will go out every morning at 5 a.m. It gives you your local forecast. It gives you a 60-second video forecast, giving you everything you need to know, stepping out your front door for that day. And then also is some segments from the show which have aired or may not have aired. And then also viewer photo of the day and trivia. So if you want to sign up for that newsletter, you'll get it every day in your email at 5 a.m. Hit that QR code. It'll take you right to the sign-up page. And it's a really cool thing. It's free. And you'll get everything you need when it comes to weather, your location, and a little fun. So, next up on the agenda is trivia. So this trivia is just fun weather trivia, but it is also interactive. So you see at the bottom here, what instrument is used to measure air pressure? Is it A, a barometer, B, a thermometer, C, an anemometer, or is it D, a hydrometer? You can weigh in, not just by yourself. Use the QR code. You can go in and weigh in which one you think is the right answer. We will give you the answer tomorrow on the show. It's not going to be today, it'll be tomorrow. But we'll also show you how voting turned out. Won't give you names, but it'll show you how many people voted for what answer. So we'll have that coming up tomorrow. But give your answer now. And then also, one last thing before we dive into the show, viewer photo of the day. Now, today's viewer photo is a special one, and it's brought to you by Great Rooms. Great Rooms has really stepped up and said, we want to show these photos, and we thank them for that. So here's today's photo, viewer photo of the day. It is from Colleen, and Colleen has shown us first day of spring in the UP, and I'm pretty sure that's Tequamanon Falls. So Colleen, thank you so much for sending in that picture, and thank you to Great Rooms for sponsoring that. Coming up on Beyond the Forecast, we talk about what makes severe weather severe. We talk about the criteria that makes a severe thunderstorm or a tornado. We'll have all those details after the break. And welcome back, everyone, to Beyond the Forecast. We are still exploring the Severe Weather Awareness Week and everything that ties together with it. A lot of severe weather, what you need to be paying attention to, and what breaks down severe weather. So today we're going to tell you what makes a thunderstorm severe. So the severe criteria when thunderstorms start to form, winds of at least 58 miles per hour or more, and then you also get hail or hail, I should say, of 1 inch or more in diameter. So if a thunderstorm starts to develop, For it to go severe, it needs to have one of these criteria in it. And whether that's seen by people on the ground or indicated by radar, that will trigger a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, a severe thunderstorm watch is very different, but we'll break all of that down coming up here very shortly. So you need winds of at least 58 miles per hour so you could also have just hail of an inch or more in diameter. And then also or a tornado has formed. That is where you get severe thunderstorms, but then if you get a tornado that is indicated, whether it's by radar or if someone sees a tornado forming, more than likely you're going to be placed in that tornado warning immediately. So that is what makes a thunderstorm severe. And then if you want a tornado warning, a tornado is either forming or is indicated by radar that it could possibly be forming. That will give you a tornado warning. So let's take a look at how a severe thunderstorm just develops. How does this happen? Well, the science of it isn't all that hard. You get a lot of warm air at the surface, which we call the fuel for the thunderstorm, or CAPE. A lot of that energy starts to rise. When you get those very warm, very muggy days, warm air rises. So as that warm air rises, you start getting to the cumulus stage, where the cooler air aloft starts turning it into those clouds, those cumulus clouds. And that upward motion continues to build. As it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, those clouds continue to build. And as those clouds continue to grow, we call this the mature stage of a thunderstorm. Now that strong updraft and then starts forming a strong downdraft. So with those two drafts, you get the strong updraft forming the storm, getting that warm air into the storm, making it stronger, it starts making that very strong downdraft. So whenever something comes in, more than likely, something's got to come out. And that's where the downdraft comes in. It starts giving you those extremely gusty winds. But it also, with that warm air rising, starts to form hail. And the bigger the cloud, the more room the hail has to move up and bounce around and come down and then eventually fall to the ground. That is where you start getting the very large sizes of hail, but also the very strong and severe storms. So then as the storm starts to kind of break down, that's where we call the storms fading, starting to dissipate stage. But the severe storm criteria is right after the mature stage, where you could possibly have a tornado, sizable hail, those extremely gusty winds with the downdraft. That is what makes a severe thunderstorm severe. Winds of 58 miles or more, 58 miles per hour or more, hail at least 1 inch in diameter, and possibly that threat for a tornado. So what's the difference between a watch and a warning? We get this all the time, so let's break that down for you, because a severe thunderstorm watch is very different than a severe thunderstorm warning. Imagine it this way, and you'll hear people talk about this. Put food where there's severe thunderstorm. All right, so let's say taco watch or taco warning. If you have a taco watch, tacos are being made. They're going to be prepped for dinner. If you have a taco warning, it means those tacos are going to be eaten. They're going to be demolished. So a severe thunderstorm watch, severe weather hasn't been reported or indicated. It just means the conditions for the day are right to help support and build severe thunderstorms. So a severe thunderstorm watch means you're watching the conditions for the changing of the weather and possibly some severe weather to develop. A severe thunderstorm watch, you don't have to take shelter immediately. It's just watch the conditions. Go do whatever you plan on doing, but be watchful of the skies, because all of a sudden things might change and you could start seeing severe thunderstorms build and develop. Now, always have a plan with a severe thunderstorm watch, and also you should monitor those weather conditions very closely with a severe thunderstorm watch, because things can turn on a dime. But if severe weather is not happening with a severe thunderstorm watch at the moment you see a severe thunderstorm watch, it just could happen later. But you also don't need to take shelter. Now, when you head over to a severe thunderstorm warning, warning means it is happening right now. And that's where you need to take shelter immediately. The severe weather has been reported or indicated by radar. Don't have time to plan in some cases. So what you need to do is have a plan set in place already. So when things start to happen, you have that plan ready to go. And that's the whole point of Severe Weather Awareness Week, is to look at the plan you have, or maybe get a plan in place. So when severe thunderstorms start to move in and we get into severe thunderstorm or tornado season, you can look at that plan and be like, all right, I need to do this when these conditions start happening. whether it's for a severe thunderstorm watch and you need to watch the conditions to see if severe thunderstorms develop, or if it's a warning and conditions are already happening and what you need to do now to keep safe. And then yes, you should definitely find a way to monitor or be able to see the conditions as they're happening from your safe place. The best thing to do is grab the Doppler 910 weather app or the app of your choice, or also have in your safe place some way of getting the information, whether it's a phone, whether it's a TV, social media platforms, whatever it is, have a way to monitor what the storms are doing for your location. So that is the best way that you can do that and be aware and ready for those storms. Now let's turn the page to tornado watches and warnings. Again, watch means it's not happening, but conditions are favorable for it throughout the day. So you do not have to take shelter immediately. There hasn't been a tornado reported. It's just conditions are right for the making of a tornado. Now, have a plan, of course, and yes, you should monitor the conditions very closely. Now, tornado warning, again, means that there has been an indicated or reported tornado forming or on the ground, and you need to take shelter immediately if you're in that warning. And then you don't have time to plan. That is why we always tell you, make sure you have a plan in place if this happens. And a lot of people think, well, it's not going to happen for us. We've never seen a tornado in my lifetime. That is not the case. Tornadoes don't pick and choose where they form. It's just the conditions have to be right at the exact locations. So always, doesn't matter where you're at, have a plan of what to do in a watch and what to do immediately in a warning. And then, yes, also have a way to monitor the conditions closely. And in a tornado warning in your safe place, make sure you have a way of communicating with loved ones or authorities, and also have a way of keeping track, whether it's us on social media platforms or weather app or on TV or NOAA Weather Radio, have ways of keeping yourself informed. Now with tornadoes, they break down into 5 categories. 6 really if you want to call an EF0 tornado. It's a very small tornado, but these are how it breaks down with the enhanced Fujita scale. It goes from EF0 to EF5. EF5 is the largest, EF0 is the smallest. Now, what isn't a tornado, that would be right around 0, 1, and 2 sometimes, is straight line winds. And that's a completely different factor and different type of severe weather, but we'll also be covering that as we head through this week. But the types of damage you can see increases with the strength of those winds. 3-second wind gust of 200 or more is an EF5. A 3-second wind gust of 136 to 165 miles per hour is an EF3. So the bigger the number, the bigger the tornado. And these tornadoes, once you get down to 3, 4, and 5, very, very strong, very, very wide, and just demolishes what's in its path. When you get 0, 1, and 2, you can do some shingle damage. You can do windows broken, mobile homes overturned, roofs torn off. When you get to 3, 4, and 5, that's when you see houses picked up and moved, or you see well-constructed homes swept away, just completely demolished once you get down towards EF5, even brick buildings. So that is kind of how the enhanced Fujita scale works. But to give you an idea, Michigan, we've seen all of these tornadoes throughout history. We've seen 0 to 5. In our neck of the woods, as of recent, just a few years ago, you might recall the Gaylord tornado. That was a high-end EF3, almost EF4. So with that all being said, make sure you have a plan in place, not day of. Make sure you have a plan of what happens when severe weather does hit, whether it's a severe thunderstorm watch or a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, remember, watch, not happening right now. Warning, get to a safe place. Both severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, that's what you need to remember. And have ways of keeping it connected to us, because once we get warnings or watches, we will let you know what's happening and where they are as they're happening live, whether it's on our socials or whether it's on TV. That is where you need to be in these types of scenarios. And we'll always keep you well ahead, several days at times, of the chances for this type of weather. So there you go, a little breakdown of severe weather, what you can get, whether it's here in Michigan or whether it's anywhere in America, because we are a spot in the world that sees a lot of severe weather and a lot of tornadoes, more so than most people in the world. We'll be right back with more from Beyond the Forecast.
And coming up next, we join meteorologist Haley Fiaschetti to go over what items you should have in your safe place or shelter in case of severe weather.
Welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. I'm meteorologist Haley Fiaschetti, and for Severe Weather Week, we decided to talk about what you should have in your severe weather kits. Whether that means a tornado is coming in your area, of course, giving you plenty of warning time, but it's always great during the springtime to start preparing for that severe weather in the summer. So as you're starting to do your spring cleaning, this is the perfect opportunity for you to grab some of these items and kind of store it away and be ready for any of those severe thunderstorms that we might see heading into the summer months. So just starting off, here's some of the basic things that you should have. Of course, every family could have something different depending on what you have in your household, but the basics. Starting off with some canned food. A lot of it, sometimes granola bars, but you might be in that shelter for long periods of time, sometimes overnight into the early morning hours. So having a little breakfast just in case you can't leave your spot, it's good to have. I have some canned food here that you could keep ready to go just in case, but granola bars is another great option, trail mix, even some nuts. That's going to be the best, something that can be preserved for a while. Another thing is going to be a flashlight. Having multiple different kinds of flashlights, a smaller flashlight, or even one of those big ones that can help you see whether or not your power goes out to find your shelter, or if you need to get out of your shelter, you need those flashlights. So having something handy, whether it's battery operated or ready to charge, that's always going to be key to have. On top of that, if you are there for long periods of time and say your shelter doesn't have any light and you need your flashlight for light and you run out of batteries, it's great to always have extra on hand. We have just a bunch of batteries here. They're easy to store. They're definitely going to save you in the long run, and that's going to help you really charge a lot of your stuff. We have cell phones that can be charged with portable chargers, or even a radio. Radio is great to have too, because if your phone loses service, you'll always have that as well. Masks are another great thing. A lot of us have these still just lying around. Putting in a tote can help just in case there's any debris that falls in your region and you're getting out of your shelter. Say there's a bunch of branches or trees, or you just need to cover your face for whatever reason. This is always just going to be great and smart to have whenever you store your severe weather stuff. Now, another thing is going to be those chargers. I have this bag here that's full of portable chargers, headphones, really anything that you need when it comes to electronics. Storing this in here, making sure your portable chargers are also charged before severe weather were to happen, that's going to be your best bet. Normally, we give you guys plenty of time when we know severe weather is on the way, so it's a great reminder to keep your phone charged, but also keeping all your portable chargers charged as well. Now, heading over to the other side of the table, we have water bottle. Having some plastic water bottles stored in a tote, or filling up a bunch of your reusable water bottles before severe weather were to happen, that's going to help you guys out as well, storing that away. And closed-toed shoes. A lot of the times we have severe weather and it's in the middle of the summer, so we're thinking sandals, flip-flops. You want to make sure you have sneakers ready to go, maybe even some boots put away. That's going to help you just in case you are stuck in a shelter. You're getting outside and you see a bunch of tree branches, some debris on the ground. You don't want to have your open toes out. You want to make sure you're covered. So storing your sneakers away, or even your winter boots, putting that in a safe place for severe weather instead of putting it away for the season. On top of just being safe, it's smart to also have a helmet. I know a lot of us kiddos having a bike helmet, really anything to save. This is Chief Meteorologist Michael Stevens' hockey helmet that he lent me, but having something just put away to help protect yourself just in case something terrible were to happen in your shelter, making sure you're ready to go for anything. Now, when it comes to storing all of this stuff, you want to make sure it's easy to find and easy to carry. Now, usually I have all my stuff in just a smaller tote that I bought from really any store. Making sure all that's in there, really it's just me, but if you have a bigger family, maybe having multiple totes, or if you have your safe space just in your home, whether it's a basement, a interior bathroom, making sure that's already put in there so you don't have to worry about carrying that as well. Also having it just in a dry spot. You want to make sure it's high up. You can also make sure you have your emergency documents ready to go when we start seeing severe weather pop up more and more, having copies of that and putting it in your safe spot. But that's really all you guys need. Now, of course, we'll have more information online and on Beyond the Forecast.
Thanks, Haley. Now, coming up next, we take you into our first look at the podcast. And this is a live streaming podcast, and there's many different forms that you can catch. We break it all down for you coming up after this short break.
And welcome back, everyone, to the last segment here of Beyond the Forecast. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show so far, and it's only going to get better as we go on, I promise. But we want to take a second and let you guys know about the Beyond the Forecast podcast. Now, this is a wonderful, wonderful podcast that me, John, and Haley will all be a part of. And we'll be talking about weather topics and science topics. And you have a help in choosing that topic. So every beginning of the week on social medias, we will be putting out which topic would you like to hear us discuss, and you have questions for, because this is a live streamed podcast. We'll have it live on the Beyond the Forecast Facebook page. We'll have it live on the 910 News YouTube channel and any other social platforms. But usually at around 10 a.m., we will have a live podcast, whether it's Tuesday or Thursday. We'll let you know the exact date, and you can tune in and you can chat with us and talk with us about that topic. And it'll all be live. We'll see everybody. We'll see everybody's comments. We'll see everybody's questions. But this podcast is going to be something special. Now, don't worry. If you can't watch it live, you can always go back and watch it or listen to it, whether it's on Spotify, YouTube, whichever platform you listen or watch your podcast on, it'll be there. So here's a little section of what you'll be able to see and interact with live. Check it out.
The overnight lows are not lowing. They are staying warm all night. And that's helping the lakes also stay warm. They're not betting on that cool down that we normally see at nights.
Right.
And that's in turn affecting just in general the lakes.
It's 100% a huge thing that I don't think a lot of people take in is the fact of, so when we give you an average temperature, say like Traverse City, you saw a 50-degree average temperature for the year. You have to take the daytime highs, but then you have to take the overnight lows as well, squish them together. So when you take the highs and lows from last year, I believe it was the second warmest, if not the warmest record on year for a lot of our areas.
Yeah.
So you take a no winter, you take a lackluster spring, and you take a warmer summer, and then a pretty warm fall.
Yeah.
That's record warmth across the board.
And that does it for Beyond the Forecast. Thank you so much for being here today for our first episode. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking more severe weather. So be good, stay safe, take care. For John, Haley, and myself, have a wonderful evening.